Hey, I'm Tim.
And I'm Oscar, and we're Holy Holy.
You're watching Toasted.
Listening to your sound, your guitar sound especially, I never thought it would be a Telecaster with a Fender amplifier. Actually,
It isn't always that, but actually, for some reason, these little Fender amps that we've been using, they've been kind of cool. It depends on a lot of factors. We have a brand of guitar in Australia called Maton, which they're mostly known for their acoustic guitars, but I quite like their electric guitars, and I often play those guitars. I've got a nice, a semi hollow body humbucker style guitar. Yeah, but I haven't got it in Europe with me at the moment.
Looking at your Facebook page, actually, it was fun to see how you guys shipped your stuff here. I mean, there were a million tags on everything you brought, and then finally, when the shit did arrive, there's only one guy with the gear, and everybody else was gone. What's that about?
Yeah, we were a little bit nervous about the gear because on our last European tour, we arrived in London and all the drummers' stuff and all the bass players' stuff didn't arrive. So it was the instruments and also all their clothes and everything. What? And we had shows, so we spent the first day madly hiring gear and buying clothes and shoes and toothbrushes and stuff for them. Yeah. And it kind of just, the whole tour had this kind of, as a result, got off to this funny start. And then also some other artists that are friends of ours back home, Tash Sultana just arrived in Berlin, and she has this rig that's a one-of-a-kind rig, and it was in Singapore, and she was in Berlin. So this time we were all right, guys, when the gear was being loaded in, we were we had to check every tag and make sure they all said London Heathrow, and so we were particularly thrilled when we arrived, and it was every single piece was there. But also Ozzy and I have European passports, so we get through customs quickly, and so we were getting all the gear, and the rest of the boys had to go through the non-EU. So that's why it was just two of us outside.
They were in line for ages, and we were just waiting for them the whole time. But it is scary when we put our guitars on the conveyor belt and they disappear off into the airport world.
I don't think I could. I mean, Jesus.
Well, that's why I've got this guitar with me here. I don't always bring your baby. My baby, yeah. So,
yeah, and it's always the bass arrived this time and the case was cracked. And but it's all right. The guitar's fine, but the case is cracked. And we were traveling this Prophet synth, which is an analog synth. And I guess they're not that common to tour with. They're probably more of a studio instrument, but our keyboard player likes them. And the first thing he did, he got the thing and just opened it up and just had a look and see, what.
Swiping sweat.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. Sorry.
Seems alright.
It seems fine.
Everything's.
Yeah. You should rather hire everything. I mean, geez, man, it's
your guitar. It's so personal. You know. Yeah, you're thinking whatever.
Yeah, and also money. It's expensive. Yeah, and because we get the baggage included in the flight. So, but yeah, there is also something about playing your own guitar and your own. I mean, we have to bring our own pedals and stuff.
Yeah. You guys released your album last year, 2015, in Australia, right? But you're issuing it here again, new, or how should I see this? There's also an EP out by you guys?
Yeah, we did an EP. I released that in 2014, I think it was, in Australia. And then the album last year.
I think the album's out. The album should be out globally, yeah. But we're kind of, this tour is sort of for our next record, really. So we've recorded 3/4 of the next record, and we've released the first single off our sophomore album. So our latest single is Darwinism, which is on the radio back home, and so we're kind of touring that, and then we'll and we're playing. So the sets we'll be doing on this tour are half new songs off the forthcoming record. Awesome. Yeah, it's really fun. It feels really.
Is the record already completely done, or how many songs did you record?
And we recorded 7.
From 11 or 12 songs.
Yeah. Something, but then those 7 are still, some of them are finished, some have more to do.
What are they like? Is it more in line with Darwinism or?
A little more, yeah. I mean, it is a bit more our first record. We were very much discovering where our sound could go, and I guess every record you're doing that. But in this case, there's a lot of songs that are kind of quite more energetic, I suppose.
More solos.
Well, I always want to have solos. The guys let me do them, which is nice. But
liked your solos.
Yeah.
I was hoping for it actually.
But there's also some songs with drum machines, and we're using, as Tim said, Matt, our producer, has some really nice synthesizers and some of them to blend them with the guitars and some, like I say, some samples as well. So
when will the album be done?
So we're going to go back. We're doing this tour, then we go back to Australia. We're touring the country, the big Australian tour in November, and then we have one more session in December.
So you're recording the album in Australia?
Yeah, in Melbourne. So the band live all down the East Coast, so we don't live in the same city. But we're recording in Melbourne in a great little studio called Head Gap, which has had some great artists through there recently. They've had like Dirty Three and Courtney Barnett and June Rats and Big Scary, who are an amazing Melbourne band. So it's been really nice because the first one was kind of a little bit more like we didn't have a label at the beginning of making that or a manager or anything or any money. So the first one was kind of like it was a real journey of like finding our sound, but also finding like how to operate as a band and so on. Even though we'd both been playing for years, it was kind of a new project.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we'll finish it in December and then it's coming out in February. But another big move on this record is because I used to be like a singer-songwriter, so I was really used to like playing this guitar and always strumming along. But we kind of came to this point where we realised that the songs are oftentimes improved with a bit more space and room in them, and so on this next record, I'm just singing a lot of songs and not playing anything at all. Wow. And so then it's like drums, bass. Oscar has more room to do sort of more intricate and more interestingly voiced chords and melodies.
Wow.
And a bit more space for Moog and Prophet and so on.
But that must be something for you as a singer to step back and you can't hide behind your guitar anymore. It's just you. It must be scary as well.
Well, I wasn't sure what it was going to be like because we hadn't done it. Because we did all these songs in the studio and in rehearsals, and it was feeling great in rehearsal spaces. Yeah. But then we did our first show the night before we left for Europe. We kind of had this festival back home before we jumped on the plane, and it was the first time I did it. But I really liked it. It's great. It's awesome. It's so nice not to have the guitar, not to have to think about, okay, am I in tune? Is everything working? Where are my pedals? And trying to like, it's nice just to be like, I'm just singing. But I think the songs are better for it too.
Wow, man, looking forward. Hey, of course, Darwinism is a single. I read that it was written in a bathroom, like you locked yourself in, and you got. I guess it is true. So.
Yeah.
This is not just promo talk.
No, it's true. Yeah, I mean, we have this kind of idea of like the kernel of a song. Like once you have this like little motif, like just the bare bones of a song, oftentimes it just all unfolds. But it's like coming across that like initial inspiration. And we're always like, we're just recording like little fragments of ideas on our phones. Like sometimes I'll be driving in the countryside and I'll just like pull over the car and get the phone out and just like record a little idea. And it was like that. We were in Darwin in the Northern Territory, which is like a wild place, like crocodiles and sunsets and stingrays jellyfish that can kill you and stuff like that. And we were doing a festival up there.
Lots of fun.
Yeah. And just sort of was having a bit of a play in the bathroom and came across that opening riff. And that was kind of the key to the song.
And this is also how you record your songs. I mean, you sing along to what you do. You think it in your head. You record it in your phone. And
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can hear the original first idea. You can hear some of the melodies that ended up being on the song.
Nice, man. Jeez. Hey, of course, I've been looking on the web for you guys. Find actually a lot of videos. I think all the videos are great. How do you find your directors? Who did them? Actually, the video for Impossible Like You is very nice. Love that one.
Yeah, it's cool that you would say that, because that one was that was before we really had like the team around us. That was when we were kind of like just self funding and so on. But
it's very professional, I think.
Well, it's funny because like a lot of our clips now, like because we've got the label now, so they're like thousands of dollars to make. But that one we did for $700.
Are you fucking joking? How the fuck did you do that?
Well,
and who did it?
It was this friend of ours who was just a great guy, and he was a fan of the band, and he just basically like did it all for free. And the $700 was kind of like hiring some cameras and a smoke machine and some lights.
Buying the flares too. We bought the flares,
yeah.
And we went up onto that hill and just lit the flares, and that was one where we just worked together to kind of, almost like improvise it a little bit, like, just have a couple of motifs like the lights and the flares and things like that, and then kind of develop it from there. Really.
New album, you guys are still recording. When will it be out? And will there be vinyl?
Yes, there will be vinyl.
Feb next year it'll be out. I'm not sure what the plan is for over here, but we'll be releasing it in February in Australia and then the rest of the world. Normally we try and do the whole world at the same time. These days it doesn't make sense to stagger it. It just it's silly, you know. So yeah, but February 2017.
Do you guys have any goals? I mean, do you set goals for yourself and for your band? I mean, do you want it to be the biggest band in the world? Do you want to be number one in America, or you don't care about that?
I personally don't set those kinds of goals for the band. I don't imagine you do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's kind of about, like, it might sound like cliche, but it's kind of a lot about just having songs that we're proud of and songs that we like can enjoy and listen to and that are fun to perform. Yeah. But
I mean, it's nice when the shows get bigger each tour.
That's been
it's
really
nice.
They do, probably.
Yeah. It's been with us. It's been just kind of like every tour we do, because the venues are kind of like this in Australia. Like, you know, starts at like 150, and then we just kind of went 150, 200, 400, 500, 900. Now we're kind of, the next tour will be like 1100.
Nice,
so
man.
starting to feel pretty good. But
Yeah.
I guess like in the beginning it was kind of this thing of you take any opportunity you can get, like, you know, take any support, do any gig, and then there's this point in the band where you have to you can't do that because there's too many opportunities, and that's when you have to kind of start like working out like a strategy and so on.
Yeah.
But this, you know, I was sort of thinking, the second record might be really hard, but it's been really fun and effortless, and the songs are so fun to play. So when you say like, is this the fun period of the band? Like, I'm really enjoying playing these new songs.
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah. I notice that every time I set goals, like, you know, like really concrete, specific goals, like I want to be, you know, whatever, big in Japan, big in America. It's always fucked. Yeah. It never happens. You know, like you can't. I just setting those kinds of goals. It never seems to work that way. You know, I don't think music can be that way. Like you have to. I think setting intrinsic internal goals makes a lot of sense.
Yep. It'd be good
and
if
then
it stopped losing money.
It'd be nice if it stopped losing money. Yeah, that'd be good. But at the same time, like we're still here. You know, it's not really like we're still doing it. We're here in Europe touring.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, it would be nice if we didn't lose money.